Hi, welcome to Friday Vespers for April 23rd. I recently saw a meme that said, "When life gives you lemons, you throw them at people." I found great wisdom in that, or comfort. Okay, perhaps not great kindness, and maybe it's not good advice to follow if you want to win friends and influence people, but it's great if you want to do a little venting. Just saying. And yes, I know that I can be a bit snarky at times, or a lot of the time, and that I'm really supposed to take those lemons and make lemonade, and that my lemonade will probably require a whole lot of sugar, some days more than others. You may find that you just skip through your days naturally turning those lemons into the tastiest lemonade of all times. Or maybe you might be stuffing those lemons in your pockets waiting for your most desired target. So, if that's the case, if you're a little more like me, let's talk about some alternatives, some ways to maybe change our attitudes and look at people and life through a different lens. I don't know who wrote these words, but I really like them. In this life, we are all just walking up a mountain, and we can sing as we climb, or we can complain about our sore feet. Whichever we choose, we still got to do the hike. I decided a long time ago singing made a lot more sense. There are certain practices in life that help us to let go of the things in life that no longer serve us well, things that do us harm, bad things or bad feelings, maybe even bad people. Therapy, yoga, meditation, exercise, prayer. Techniques that help us get rid of the negative and embrace the positive. And if you Google how to get rid of the negative and embrace the positive, you'll get over 7 million results. But sometimes, instead of going through lots of steps, you just have to live your way into it slowly, surely, intentionally. Today, we're going to turn to Anne Lamott and her book, Plan B, Further Thoughts on Faith. In her opening chapter, she talks about her 49th birthday, on which her thoughts were consumed by her anger and frustration with the Bush administration and the war in Iraq. And she's contemplating this, or as she is contemplating all this, a dear friend of hers, Father Tom, a Jesuit priest, calls her. She tells him some of what she's been thinking, and he gives her a bit of a pep talk. He reminds her some of the beauties of life and tells her, left foot, left foot, breathe. It all makes sense. Unfortunately, just a few moments after the call, Lamott turned on her TV and got caught up in the news. Her angst returned. She says the loving ministrations of her dog's kisses brought her back to life. But still caught up in her despair, she called her friend Tom back. Excuse me. These are her words. He listened quietly. I asked him for some good news. He thought. Well, he said finally, my cactuses are blooming. Last week they were ugly and reptilian, and now they are bursting with red and pink blossoms. They don't bloom every year, so you have to love them while they're here. I hate cactuses, I said. I want to know what to do, where to even start. We start by being kind to ourselves. We breathe, we eat, we remember that God is present wherever people suffer. God's here with us when we're miserable, and God is there in Iraq. The suffering of his innocent people draws God close to them. Kids hit by U.S. bombs are not abandoned by God. Well, it sure looks like they were, I said. It sure looks that way to their parents. It also looked like Christ had been abandoned on the cross. It looked like a win for the Romans. How do we help? How do we not lose our minds? If you take care of the suffering. I can't get to Iraq. There are folks who are miserable here. After we got off the phone, I ate a few birthday chocolates. Then I asked God to help me be helpful. It was the first time that day that I felt my prayers were sent and then received like email. I tried to cooperate with grace, which is to say, I did not turn on the TV. I asked God to help me again. The problem with God, or at any rate, one of the top 5 most annoying things about God, is that he or she rarely answers right away. It can take days, weeks. Skipping ahead a bit, we get to a part where she has gone to the grocery store and she has won a ham, which she doesn't want. And this is what she says. Finally, the bag boy handed me a parcel the size of a cat. I put it in with feigned cheer into my grocery cart and walked to the car, trying to figure out who might need it. I thought about chucking the parcel out the window near a field. I was so distracted that I crashed my cart smack into a slow-moving car in the parking lot. I started to apologize when I noticed that the car was a rusty wreck and that an old friend was at the wheel. We got sober together a long time ago, and each of us had a son at the same time. She has dark black skin and processed hair the color of cooled tar. She opened her window. Hey, I said, how are you? It's my birthday. Happy birthday, she said, and started crying. She looked drained and pinched, and after a moment she pointed to her gas gauge. I don't have money for gas or food. I've never asked for help from a friend since I got sober, but I'm asking you to help me. I've got money, I said. No, I just need gas, she said. I've never asked someone for a handout. It's not a handout, I told her. It's my birthday present. I thrust a bunch of money into her hand, everything I had. Then I reached into my shopping cart and held out the ham to her like a clown offering flowers. Hey, I said, do you and your kids like ham? We love it, she said. We love it for every meal. She put it in the seat beside her firmly, lovingly, as if she were about to strap it in, and she cried some more. Later, thinking about her, I remembered the seasonal showers in the desert, how potholes in the rocks fill up with rain. When you look later, there are already frogs in the water and brine shrimp reproducing like commas doing the Macarena. And it seems, but only seems, that you went from parched to overflow in the blink of an eye. Life never seems to be a bed of roses, at least not all the time. No one said it would be. And if we're mixing metaphors, sometimes those lemons are going to come flying in our direction. It's up to us to decide what to do with them. But I'm ready for some lemonade. How about you? Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.